Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Matt and Carly podcast. This is episode 24.
24.
And we have a special guest appearance today. We're doing something different. We have a phone call in from a very special guest, Carly's brother. You want to introduce him?
My brother. Say hello, brother.
Hello, brother. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes.
This is an honor.
This is my brother, Christopher, also referred to as Bobby. Long story. He is my younger brother, and he is amazingly awesome. And we today are going to share some just kind of goofy stories from childhood. We sometimes during the day, like when we're just hanging out, we'll say, "Hey, remember that one time?" And it's just whatever follows is just a dumb, weird story. So the other day, I was thinking about what stories could we tell that are just interesting, funny, goofy, like out of the box, just randomly weird. And I thought, you know who would be a great resource to tap into is my brother, because he's got some really good ones. One that is notably probably more funny than the others. So
I'm excited because I've never actually heard this story.
Yeah, I probably didn't do it probably did it a disservice by telling you.
Yeah, we won't ruin it yet.
No.
But it's a pretty good one.
Yeah. And then it kind of ties into the other day. You were talking about maybe doing some like interesting childhood memories that you had. So we're just going to loop all those into this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll call it the, hey, you remember that time?
Hey, remember that one time? Yeah, I think that's good. All right. I think that we should have our guest kick it off. And
shouldn't we tell people who he is? Like, what's he's doing?
Yeah. What's he's doing? What you doing, boy?
Christopher Bobby is an up and coming YouTube sensation. He's killing it right now on the DIY.
That's no joke.
No joke. He's got more subscribers than we do, like double.
That doesn't matter.
Bobby, why don't you fill the listeners in? Basically, it's our parents and like maybe a few of our friends that are going to listen to this. So
that's who watches my channel. It's like the same audience. Crazy. Yeah. It's like 14 people.
Yeah. Before we get into the stories, give us a little overview of your home small engine YouTube thing you got going on.
That's exactly it. I find lawnmowers, outdoor power equipment, and typically it's non-running. And, I pull it into the garage, figure out what it needs to come back to life. And I was doing that for a while simultaneously watching people do it on YouTube. And then at some point I was just like, why don't I start doing this? Even if I didn't record it, I would still be doing it anyway. So I figured it would be fun. And it's just opened up a whole entirely new, world, being the filmmaking world that both of you have so graciously shared your knowledge with. That is in itself a massive rabbit hole to go down with, equipment and other things independent of the small engine stuff. So it's kind of like it's been a really cool thing, but I will be straightforward as well. It's still very overwhelming. I have now like doubled or tripled like the effort that I put into it. And especially it was like, Matt, you and I are the same with like focusing and like making sure this is right. And then I didn't like it. So I do it again. And it's like a 15-minute thing without cameras or, production people behind the scenes now takes like an hour and a half. Like it takes me like 14 minutes to shoot B-roll to like open a toolbox drawer. And but anyways, I'm getting off topic. Yes, it is fun. I have a blast. And this is a wide ranging conversation, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, if we could just digress.
You can
really
talk
quick
about whatever you want to.
Yeah. This is our stupid podcast.
And you can just to lay down the ground rules. We say the F word. We try not to overly offend anyone, any major groups. I have done a pretty bad job of that. So you're probably not going to say anything overly offensive that I already have not. You can talk about whatever you want. And we'll just call it a tangent. And we'll come back to the main topic at some point. That's fine.
My goal, my end goal with like where we're going with this is I hope we're just like the redneck Tom Billieu. That's my goal. So like we're gonna just get to a place where we're just interviewing all kinds of awesome people.
Gosh.
So this is a good one.
We're like the Tom Raincheck you. That's what we are.
Well, you said something a few minutes ago, Matt, and I want to talk about it because it's an interesting conversation.
Okay.
you made a mention of how many subscribers that I had, and I actually, ironically, it's 69 right now, which is hilarious, but who's counting? But
that's good.
One of the
that's
things,
good.
Yeah, I've tried to use that with Danielle lately because it's been stuck at that number for like 8 days, and it's just not really working out very well. So, but the more I get into this, and just from like being plugged in with people on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, there is this like infatuation with striving for that blue check, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or how many followers do you have? How many likes did that post get, right? There's this like, I don't know, there's just like this obsession or this thing that just sucks people down. And I've been trying my hardest it's hard not to pay attention to. I will say that. Yeah. It's hard not to pay attention. If you throw something out there and a lot of people give it love, it gives you that like very satisfying feeling, which is not a bad feeling. But I think what happens is people start to like get addicted to that feeling, and maybe to the point where they start like selling out, or they start like altering their content to where it becomes like disingenuous to what they started doing. And so I think it's an important thing to focus on and just be mindful of. But at the same time, what I'm getting at, I don't care if it stays there forever and never goes up and takes up one person.
That's how I am too.
And here's why. I have, I think it's been 3 or 4 people have messaged me, and they're just like, hey, I started watching and I had no knowledge of this stuff. And I just like went and I found like some thing that wasn't working, and I just like went and fixed it, like just the same way you do. And now I like, all I want to do is that. And
that's so cool.
It's been so cool. And I even tell Danielle, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like I could quit this right now and it would be a success and it'd be done. Like that is so cool. One of those 4 people, he's a sophomore in high school. And I messaged him like, throughout the conversation, I was like, dude, if I was a sophomore and I started doing this, like I would give my left leg or my right leg to go back.
Far ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that part's been really cool. So, I see it all the time, and, there's just this there's this quest to like get to 1,000 and get to 5,000. Right. And there's just, I don't know. It's just kind of exhausting. I'm just like sitting here and like, I don't really care. I'm trying not to care.
I honestly think just from my own, like, just from having been following YouTubers for a long time, and kind of like, I mean, you kind of, when you start to do YouTube and you also watch YouTube, you watch it differently, you analyze it differently, you start to think about like, what are these people doing that like, what's making them successful? Yeah. And it kind of like, I don't know, it's really interesting because I feel like the most successful YouTubers that I follow anyway, and you guys like chime in, but I feel like the most successful people I follow are just, it feels like they're truly authentic to just who they are as people. And like, they're just like, if you hung out with them in real life, they'd be the same. Like, it seems like they're just sharing who they actually are as people. And like, that's just it. They're not trying to like, for the most part, I mean, if they're using it or they're doing it for like their main income stream and they're supporting families or their lives or whatever, like there's certain benchmarks you need to hit in order to do that.
Right.
But it's like, if you can control the urge to be like, oh, I have to do this and like more, and just be like, you know what? It's cool. Like I'm at this point, I'm like coasting. I'm at a good place. Like I'm just going to be myself and put the content out that people want to see. And it's like a happy, authentic version of me. Like that's it. And it comes across, I think, in a lot of different people.
So Bobby, I don't know if you ever heard this story, and this is like one of those, I remember that one time. So when we lived in Utah, Carly and I were like going out shed hunting. I'm sure you saw the YouTube videos we put out, and they were like really small. Like I think the most views I ever got was like 2,000 views or something. But we went out for the opening day of shed hunting season in Utah, and we filmed it. And it was back with that like real crappy little Sony Handycam, camera, and we filmed it. And I remember I tried my hardest to get it edited and posted quickly, just because it was relevant, So it came out like 2 or 3 days after we were done. And I think it was a week or 2 after that, we went down to a different area in Utah to go shed hunt another spot. And the way that we could get into the public land was we had to park in like a campground, and then we ended up having to walk like through the parking lot, through the parking, like where the campers with the tents and stuff. And as we were walking through these people, this guy like he didn't walk up to us, but he like noticed us. And by this time I had a better camera. So it was like noticeable that I was carrying a camera. And the guy walked over, he goes, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're actually just going to go up and do some shed hunting." And he goes, "Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I know who you are. I saw your video last week." Like, and he looked at Carly because she was the one that found the big shed. And he was like, "Yeah, you did pretty good. You found that big like 4-point or whatever." And it was so weird. Yeah, it was the really weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life, to show up at just like this random location and have a complete stranger walk up to you and know you from online.
From something else.
It was so weird. Yeah. And like I can understand how people like get into it, where I couldn't even imagine not being able to go out and just have that happen all the time. You know what I mean? It's got to be like you start to live in a different world.
You mean like if you're a really popular YouTuber, like celebrity or something like that, and you're going out
like where somebody you have quote unquote fans or like a fan base. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could understand how your motivation would change. Yeah, or you look at it differently. Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling. But some of my favorite podcasters and people like started off with nothing. You know, even when they get popular, they still treat it like that. So yeah, I get it.
I think Peter McKinnon still seems fairly humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a catchy personality for sure.
Yeah. I mean, dude perfect. That I like, Carly, you were talking about just being genuine or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can almost guarantee you, if you hung out with those guys like off camera, it'd probably be almost identical to what they do on camera.
Like their excitement is just like, they just get giddy about like the funnest, weirdest little things. And it's just like, that's how they would be. I think that's the most, that to me is like the most important thing. And not to get into like, God, I don't even want to go down this route, but like when you start doing a job that like steals away from that, it's the worst thing in the world. Like I'm not going down that road. All I'm going to say is like, if a person can find a job where you can just be authentically yourself and that's how you make money, like bingo, good night, goodbye, forever, you have figured it out. Amen. Like that's it. I mean, that's it. You're successful.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I think anyways. You doing okay over there?
Bobby's in a windstorm right now. Bobby, did you just fall down the stairs? Are you with us still?
Yeah. No, what? I've just been sitting here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that on our end?
I don't know.
I think that was on your end.
Oh, it sounds like there's like, it sounds like almost as if you're like rubbing your finger over the microphone.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Is that on our end?
I don't know. We'll find out. Hey, don't judge us, people. This is our first rodeo here. So now we'll figure it out. I think we're all right.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's our dog breathing into the phone over there.
Is it?
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of dogs, how's your
She's good. We hate her.
It's so weird going from having not a dog to then having a dog, and it being like, it's a transition period. That's for sure. For sure.
I would not consider us to be dog people.
That's fair.
I had to answer a security question today for my bank account, and it said, like one of the questions that you had to like pick and then answer was, "What's the name of your favorite pet?" And I was like, "Oh, no question." Like,
how dare you?
It's the black dog. It's the black dog. The brown dog's not even close.
Did you type in the black dog?
Absolutely. And
the black dog?
No. Oh, I mean, I put
spaces or
I mean, this is like a bank thing. So, I don't want to give out my password, but everybody knows the answer to that one. So, but yeah, no, really I'm with you. I don't feel bad about that.
How you guys feel about Ace, I think, is how we feel about her.
Yeah.
But we just don't have a Jack.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Right. So she's so sweet, and like we love her, and oh man, I'm just really over walking her. And if we had a setup like your guys' place or, we were up at, we have a family friend cabin and they have like a fenced in backyard.
Yeah.
That was so peaceful. Cause you could you're like in your underwear and you're like, here you go.
Right.
And so now like this thing that needs to go to the bathroom 3, 4, 5 times a day now requires me to be fully clothed this time of year, have boots on, a coat on. And,
it's like having a kid, but worse. It's like you have to go outside when it has to go to the bathroom 5 times a day, like you just described. It's insane.
Hey, you remember that time when we had our black dog Jack, and I got tired of Jack having like soft dumps that I'd have to take a bag and like squeegee out of the grass. So I would just walk behind him with a bag over my hand and catch it. I just catch his poop when he would do it.
I do.
So I didn't have to dig it out of the
grass. I
grass.
remember when you did that one time, and I said, "Hey, babe, don't ever do that again." Yeah, that was a trip.
I feel your pain on that, Bobby. I hated it.
I have a very funny story that I don't know if anybody outside of my immediate wife and children know, but
we're getting the dirt. We're getting the dirt right now. So
Ava, our daughter, I didn't want to name names, just bleep that part out. No, but she was running around. We were at one of our old places that we lived at. She was like running around. It was when she first learned how to walk. And it was one of those moments when she had her diaper off and she was just like running around, and we were just kind of like, oh, how cute. Right. She was running around and then she stopped.
Oh no.
And she looked at us and she wasn't potty trained and she just let it rip. She let it start. And so I ran over and I made a bowl with my hands and I just clenched my eyes and it just coiled up all in my hands.
You were outside?
I was inside.
Oh, inside.
Oh, yeah, I would do the same.
I thought you were
did
outside.
The same thing.
Yeah, no. We weren't. No, if it was outside, yeah. Well, first of all, that's illegal. It's indecent exposure. It'd be a shame if somebody reported us. But no, it was inside, and it was right over the cart. Like if it was hardwood, I probably would have made a decision then and there. Should be like, okay, just let it go.
Lysol.
I can Clorox, Lysol, whatever.
Yeah.
It was carpet, so I'm like, I don't think at the time too we had like a carpet cleaning thing too, which that may have played into the game time decision, but we didn't have one of those. It was a very humbling moment, similar to Matt, catching the fecal material.
I'm gonna say 2 years ago. Hey, remember that time 2 years ago when Lauren was?
That was like 3 years ago.
She had just gotten out of the bathtub.
Yeah,
maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, she was little, and she was running around, maybe 2 or 3 years old, whatever, like 2 years old, running around and fresh out of the bath. So she dropped her towel.
She was like 1.5.
And she was just like standing there. And if I remember correctly, she started to poop and I saw it. And as it was like about to drop out, I looked around real quick and grabbed a teacup that our kids were playing with at the time. And I caught it in the teacup. Like within like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was exactly how you just described that you did to your daughter is exactly what Matt. It's like,
but I didn't have to catch it in my hand. Is that just like
a rite of passage when you become a parent? Is you have to just catch your child's fecal matter in your hands?
I've never had just poop in my bare hand.
Oh boy,
I've lucked out on that. I've
what?
Never had a handful of raw poop.
We should ask all of our parents. Have you ever caught our poop?
Probably.
Have you?
Probably.
Put it in the comments, please. That's so weird.
Tell us about the time you caught poop in your bare hand.
Who's caught poop?
And whose was it?
Please check 1 for yes and 2 for no. No thanks. No more poop.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Yeah, the day when we get past the random poops just like popping out, we're almost there.
We haven't had any bad, any weird. This podcast got real weird real quick.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a good segue though. Anyone? I don't know how it is, but it is. It is a good segue.
So so in talking about things that happened when we were younger, we do have a good story, and I'm gonna take the tangent back onto the podcast topic. I don't know how this went, so you guys have to cover it.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna sit here and listen to it because I think this is gonna be like one of the best stories ever.
Okay. Please quiet your inner monologue though, because it's loud. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So my perspective of this story is probably very blurry now. All I know is, remember that one time, Bobby, you went golfing and you accidentally golfed with a celebrity and then you didn't know and you came home and you found out? Okay, go.
That's a good lead in. Yeah.
So I was a teenager. I think I was either 13 or 14 at the time. So it was probably 15 plus years ago is when this happened. And mom and dad, whoever it was, in the summertime would drop me off at the golf course because I love to golf. And I would just sit there and hit golf balls all day. Sometimes I would play if I was able to, whatever. It was fun. That's how I spent a large portion of a couple summers in my teen years. It was just, I love to golf.
Were you on the golf team, Bobby? Did you actually golf for a team?
Say that again?
Did you actually golf on the golf team?
The high school golf team?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My freshman and I skipped my junior year because of hockey, but I did the other three.
Gotcha.
So it was summer night. It was one of those like golden summer nights. It was probably like, I don't know, 75 degrees. It was like perfect weather. That's the one thing that I remember about this night. So I've been to the golf course all day, hitting balls or whatever. It was pretty slow. And so if I ever wanted to play, I had to walk the course, right? Because I didn't have my driver's license yet. So I went up to, the first tee and I was like, hey, I'm gonna head out, if that's okay. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Like I was just by myself, but I was walking, so I would have played pretty fast relative to, how quickly a group of golfers moved down a golf course. So yeah, he was like, yeah, no, you're fine, go ahead. So I got up to the tee. I walked to the tee box. I started to tee my ball up, and the starter like jumped in the cart, and he drove down, and he like got on my cart, and he was like, I don't know, it was like he was like fired up about something. I was like, what the heck? So he was like, hey, wait, before you go, I'm going to pair you with somebody. And I was like, okay, who? And he was like, I'm going to pair you with Bob Seger. And I was like, okay.
Cool.
He's like, he's in a cart, so you can get in the cart and you get to play golf with Bob Seger. And I was like, okay, who is, I don't like, hi Bob, like, yeah. How are you? So this guy comes like barreling down the golf cart or the track, and he's like, I don't know, he's just like this like fat old like hippie. And Bob Seger is not a subscriber to your
He actually
podcast.
is. He was our third.
Oh gosh.
We told him we were going to do this podcast, and he's been waiting 21 podcasts for it.
I'm
so
sorry.
You just
Bob,
really
gosh.
shit on that one.
It's called Beachbody. Okay, subscribe to it.
So when you say Bob Seger, you're talking about the like. Is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Sure he is. Yeah.
So you're talking about the Rock and Roll, turn the page, Bob Seger, that Bob Seger.
Moves. Yeah.
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 Yes.
And you were clueless at the point of
this. No idea.
That's awesome.
So I'll reveal my Bob Seger knowledge after, because my dad helped me diagnose who I played golf with. So, so I, whatever, we got paired up, and he came over, and he was just like, hi, I'm Bob. He was like, whatever. And I was like, hi, Bob. How are you? So it was like, I don't know, it was really awkward. Like I was just playing with this like random stranger. And so he was like, the whole time he didn't mention who he was, which I appreciate now looking back. And I think part of why he probably liked it so much, and when I think back on that time, I could tell like he was having the most fun with the most random teenage stranger that he could have. And it was probably because when I look back on it, I wasn't like gushing over like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you're Bob Seger, or can I get tickets, or right. I was just like minding my own business. I'm like, this is weird. I want this to be over. Like,
Bob, I can picture you like on the course, and like you being like your 13-year-old kid or whatever. Like I know how fast I used to play golf, so I'm sure you're like, hurry the fuck up, old man. Like, I can just picture you like heckling Bob Seger to like go faster. than just not having a clue. And it makes me happy inside.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has the most beautiful flowing gray hair that I've ever seen.
Yes,
and
I
it was
remember
majestic. I mean, it was a sight to see. So we played, and he was okay. He's not an extremely good golfer, but he wasn't bad, whatever. And I don't really remember what we talked about. It just kind of like, hey, like, what grade are you in? What are you into? Like, do you like girls? Just like the weird, whatever conversation. And so that's really it. And I'm sorry if it's anticlimactic, but the story does get a little bit better. Well, so anyways, we get done, and my dad picked me up from the course that night. And when I got in the car, I was like, hey, like, everybody's freaking out. Like, who is Bob Seger? And my dad, I remember where we were in the parking lot. He like stopped and he was like, "You played golf with Bob Seger?" And I was like, "Yeah, who? Bob Seger? Like what the heck?" And he was, I can't remember what he said, but he ended up like naming off all these songs or like whatever. And from what I remember, the two, this is so funny because these are not synonymously Bob Seger like notable songs. Like a Rock. Chevy commercials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the one thing where I was like, oh,
the Chevy
that
guy?
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. And then the other one was, I actually, the Little Drummer Boy, I loved his version of the Little Drummer Boy. I didn't really know it was him.
Yeah, the Christmas. Oh, that's right. Dad used to listen to that all the time.
Yep.
Oh,
and so
funny.
he mentioned that's like pretty much like that. Oh, remember that Little Drummer Boy song you really love? Yeah, that's the guy.
That.
Man.
So it was cool. I was like, oh, cool. Well,
if you would have known it was Bob Seger, would you have been like, Bob, before we, finish up this round, could you just sing the Little Drummer Boy for me?
I probably would have. I probably would have. I would have tried to do something or get some kind of information or entertainment out of it.
Personal concert.
Just like everybody else.
Yeah.
That's such a cool story. Yeah, I can only imagine that guy is like playing golf, and like even like the tee box guy, he's like, oh my god, I just want to play golf. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was super pumped to get some kid that he didn't even have a clue. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but that's like the like the joy and the giddiness that he had, like just interacting with somebody that wasn't like that. I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he's quit by this point, but he smoked probably 2 packs of cigarettes in 9 holes. For those of you that don't know, 9 holes takes about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many
Did
cigarettes
he walk
smoked,
or was he riding? He was riding in a cart.
No, he was in. Yeah, he like hit his ball sitting in the cart.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not really want to move very much.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But he's a wonderfully nice man. I'm sure that a lot of his success is attributed to that. But very, very nice, down to earth kind of dude.
You probably remember this, but who's the professional golfer? And I'm totally forgetting his name. He used to have like a blonde haired bowl cut, and he was really rough around.
Daly?
John Daly. Yes. I mean, like, John Daly used to have a cigarette or a cigar in his mouth all the time when he was golfing, like even on TV.
He still does.
Yeah, he's just like smoking it up. That guy walks. I mean, how many miles is it? It's usually like 5 miles, right? For 18 holes. It's like 5 or 6 miles. And that guy's just a chimney, Can you imagine like how weird of a human being is John Daly? His legs are probably as strong as an ox and his lungs are blacker than coal.
That is actually very funny because usually like, well, maybe I'm wrong because now we have 2 accounts of like smoking and golf, but like usually you don't see professional or like high-end golfers smoking cigarettes all the time. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Seeing, like, I used to be bad. Like I'd sneak cigarettes. Like, I don't even think I was old enough to smoke cigarettes. But, like, me and, like, the bad kids would be like, we're going to go play golf. And we'd, like, sneak a cigarette out and think we were really cool because we'd have, like, one for 3 people and be like, smoke it really fast. Just smoke it really fast.
Wow, I think I'm wrong then. My assumption is wrong. Golf is synonymous with just smoking cigarettes.
Oh, and drinking now.
Dang it. Well, drinking
I mean,
now,
when you're an adult, Bobby, have you ever played golf and gotten hammered? I've never done that. I have never done that.
I have
No,
either.
the older that I get, the more comfortable I get with drinking while playing. And when I was younger, I'm 30, but when I was in my, like competitive quote unquote times around, which was actually before I was 21. So pretty illegal. If there's any police officers listening to this podcast, I did not do that. But I would not really like to, because it would throw me off. And now I don't care as much. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You just kind of go, the older you get and the more like life experience you go through, you just care less about things. So that's where I'm at there. But we did one time start a game that we played, and it was me and a couple other of like those horribly influencing friends. And it was, oh my gosh, Jake, Joe, I forget, there's one other person, Brandon. But anyways, we thought of this fantastic idea because we all thought we were so good. And we thought of this idea to play a game that was a drinking game on the golf course. And the game went like this. If you missed the fairway, you'd have to either take a shot or shotgun a beer. If you missed the green in regulation, meaning you weren't putting for birdie, right, you had to shotgun a beer or take a shot.
Oh my God.
And then if you missed a putt within 3 feet, same thing, beer, shotgun a beer, shot. And the fairway one was the biggest killer. And then the green in regulation was also too, because those two kind of go hand in hand. I think we got like 4 holes, like 3 or 4 holes, and everybody was like
sleeping in the sand traps.
Like everybody was like just as many shots as many holes, like per hole. Like how that math hopefully made sense, but pretty much like 2 shots in like 10 minutes for like 45 minutes straight. It went downhill fast, and we were all like, this is probably not going to work out if we do the rest 6 holes like this. So, that was as close as I would, or that's probably the worst that it's ever been. Yeah. And that was just one time. But other than that, no.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever. I guess the one time we went out, I think we had a beer. It was like the most I can drink is like a beer, because I get like competitive with myself, and like I know what it's like to shoot a good round of golf, and to me it's more fun to shoot like around par or under, a little over, and when I start getting like bogey, double bogey, and then heaven forbid I hit like a triple or a quadruple bogey, I just lose it and I want to throw my bag in like the river, just be like, I'm done. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I get to the point where I'm just like using a 5-iron for every shot until I have to putt, and then I'm like, I'm done. It's good. I'm all set.
That's hard too. Did you ever do because I was on the golf team too. A lot of you don't realize that, but
he was good. He is good.
I wasn't that great, but did you ever have to do the thing where your coach would give you one club and you'd have to go out and play 9 holes with it, and like you could pick whatever club it was? You get one club.
Our coach didn't do that, but we would challenge each other and do.
Look at me. I'm so ahead of the game. That was like a drill. Like, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, we did that.
It wasn't just because I was lazy and didn't feel like it.
I usually took a 6-iron or a 7-iron.
Solid.
It's like I used to hit a 7-iron about 160 yards. Yeah. So I could get like, pretty close to where I needed to go, and still have like a wedge type shot. So this has turned into like the golf podcast.
I miss golfing. I got my golf clubs from my parents finally this summer, and we didn't end up going because I got it late in the fall. Yeah. Or like end of summer, fall time. I was like, I wanted to go out with the kids and just let them almost kill themselves with golf clubs. But man, it's like, it's such a fun and also challenging sport to play. Sport? Like,
I don't know why, but when you just said that, almost kill yourself golfing. So did I ever tell you, I don't know if I ever told you about this. So when I was in 6th grade, I didn't start golfing until I was in like middle school. Like I had never golfed like ever. And then I started golfing, and I went to a golf camp where it was really weird because I was in the camp for 2 days and then I coached for like 3 days, which was really odd. Okay. Or maybe that was the second one. Anyway, the way it would work is you'd like do your like chipping and putting and driving and, you know, range time in the morning. And then you get to go out and walk 9 holes. Like that's what the day of golf camp was.
Yeah.
And I was in golf camp and 2 of my buddies, like that were actually my basketball teammates, were on the golf team too. And I remember this. This was when we were really dumb and we didn't follow the rules, like etiquette wise. And I remember my buddy teed off on a par 5. So we were hitting drivers. My buddy teed off and he like grabbed his bag and started walking down the edge of the fairway. And then I teed off and hit it just fine. And then I started walking behind him, not being smart. And when my third buddy teed off, all I remember was hearing the ting, you know, like the ting. And then it felt like someone shot me in my ass cheek.
Oh my God.
And I just immediately hit the deck. And was like, my whole leg was on fire. And I was like, what just happened? And they all came running over and they're like, are you all right? Are you all right? And he had teed off and I was probably 50 yards down the fairway and he had hit that ball square in my ass cheek.
Ouch.
With a driver.
Ugh.
And he was like, oh my God. Like, so like from that moment on, it looked like I had like a softball size navy blue spot on my butt cheek for like a month.
That wouldn't feel good.
Where I caught that golf ball off the tee.
Ow.
I just had like a traumatic flashback to that. Yikes. So note to self, kids, don't walk in front of anybody hitting a golf ball.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Nope.
That's okay. Live and learn.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Your butt hurt. Live and learn.
I'm just lucky it wasn't my back or like my, you know, head or or like my shin. Could you imagine taking a golf ball to the shin?
Or your genitals.
Or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I remember that one time. What are you thinking about, babe?
No, I was going to tell you today. So, Adam, I was trying my best to keep Adam awake all day today. Yeah. So he'd go to sleep like at an early time so we could do this podcast. And he was having a meltdown because I made the mistake. I let him look at the iPad
for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, for a little while. And he likes this video. It's just this weird, like, it's a grandpa head with baby teeth and it's like eating ice cream. And he was in this mood where he was like, I just need to go to sleep.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
It's a grandpa head with baby teeth.
No, I'm sorry. It's a baby head with grandpa teeth. Sorry, I got that backwards. It's a baby head with grandpa teeth.
It's like the plastic toy of like a head with the teeth and it's designed to like chomp on things.
Yeah.
And it's got the squishy, like the little like styrofoam balls and slime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he calls that whenever he wants
the image I had in my head of what you just described.
He says, I want ice cream.
Yeah.
I want ice cream. And it's not, he's not asking for actual ice cream. He wants to see this stupid baby grandpa thing. Yeah, take a bite of ice cream in this video. And I said, hey, buddy, like we got to change your diaper and then we're going to eat some food. And he lost it. And I was like, oh, man. And he did that thing where like he was just melting. You know, like I'd try to pick him up and he'd just like slither out of my hands. So I picked him up and I had him like, I was holding him underneath his armpits and he was facing out away from me. And I didn't even notice, but he started swinging his feet back and forth and he clipped me square in the man part, as square as I have ever been clipped with the back of a baby heel. And it just dropped me. It dropped me. And Lauren ran over and she goes, Dada, are you all right? And Adam's over there just screaming about ice cream. And I'm like, what happened today? What is this? What is going on?
Oh.
Yeah, he got me good.
Those are the worst.
That is.
The worst. The worst is when like kids don't mean to hit you in the face, but they hit you in the face. Like Lauren the other day, I was sitting over top of her, or I was like helping her color, and she went to take the top of a marker off, and she punched me right in the face, and I just had everything within me. I had to just like take a deep breath and be like, okay. And she goes, "Sorry, mama," and I was like, "No big deal. It's all right. We're good." And my eyes are watering, and I was just like bleeding from my nose. Like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. Oh.
Yeah, that can be rough. That can be rough.
Oh my gosh.
So Bobby, so we watched I don't know if it was the latest YouTube video, the one where you talked about, I'm going to say his name wrong, Scotty Kilmer. Is that
Scotty
it?
Kilmer. Yes.
So when you were talking about that, I heard you say like he like subscribed to me or followed me, and I was like, that name sounds really familiar. And Carly's like, I think I know who that guy is. So she looked him up. And he's like the super energetic guy, right? He's kind of got like the Ringo Starr haircut. Is that like kind of accurate? So funny thing. I was watching a TikTok, and this TikTok came up, and it was like, tell me something like you only know because your weird job. And this girl goes, hey, like I'm a social media manager, and you can actually go on. Oh, and I'm gonna forget what it is. Is it what is it? Is it ads something.google.com? What was the little...
Oh, I don't remember what the actual link was.
Shoot, I can't remember. But you can type something in, and you can actually go when you are logged into your Google account. It's like adssecret.com or google.google.com, something like that. And you can actually see all the tags that Google has tagged you with, like as an individual.
I've seen that TikTok. I seen it a few days ago. Yes, it is all coming back to me.
So I went on. I was like, I'm curious to see if this is actually real. So I logged into mine, and it is real. And the funny thing is, it like tracks. I mean, it's pretty accurate. I mean, they know like who you are, but like it knows what you're into based on what you Google search, you know. And so I'm looking through this, and there's like, I don't know, 200 different tags, right? And I get down to the bottom, and within Google, like when you're on YouTube or in Google, you can tell Google, like, don't show me this, right? You can like, you can reverse target yourself, and take a guess at one of the two things that that I had somehow blocked on Google. Scotty Kilmer was one of my blocks, and I was like, that's why I never see his stuff on YouTube anymore.
What?
So I don't know how it happened. But it was just funny because he was just talking about how Scotty Kilmer followed him, and I must have like accidentally blocked him, or our kid blocked him or something. But I'm sure he's looking at me going like, what did I do?
Oh, that's so
the
funny.
comment, if you go to any given comment section of his, like whatever video he has, it's pretty controversial because he'll just like, he'll make like a 5-minute video about like how to change out the transmission in your car. And like, I know it sounds really weird, but
they're
I don't
pretty
know.
accurate though. I mean, he covers it pretty well.
You get value from it, and you learn, and what he's doing is true. It's just way more comprehensive than he like makes his content. Yeah. So it's so funny when you visit the comment section. Oh, I love the comment section of videos. There's just people that are just like, how to perform brain surgery from scratch in 3 minutes. And you're just like, oh man, I feel bad for this guy. But he probably is just like, yeah, these guys.
Oh,
he knows what he's doing, because I mean, he gets a lot of views.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched some of his stuff is a little odd. Like I remember when I went to change out the front suspension on our car, his popped up, and he was like, before you do this, like, you know, he showed the junk one, and he was like, don't do this. And I remember, I think in that video, he took it and he just threw it over his shoulder. And I was like, that's a 45-pound piece of metal that you just chucked. I'm like, you have no idea where that just went.
It just adds to the allure of his channel.
No, it was so funny. Yeah, that video cracked me up.
Yeah, I knew exactly who he was. Like, I didn't know him by name, but when I saw his like thumbnail, I was like, oh my God, that's the guy we were watching when we were trying to figure out what to do. And he was like super just enthusiastic about what he was teaching about. It was really funny.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube channel the other day. I think it's called, I don't remember. It's basically a dad that just shares all his dad knowledge. And he like how to tie a tie, like how to change a tire, like whatever. And it's like little teeny videos, but it's the coolest thing ever. And his like reasoning behind why he started the channel, I think, was like he never learned all that stuff from his dad, so he just wants to like as a dad share it with like the rest of the. He's
like the dad of YouTube or the dad of TikTok or something. Is that who you're talking about?
There might be more now, but the original one that I was thinking of was the guy on YouTube that started it. And it's like, he's got a lot of followers, but his videos are so sweet. And they're just like, it's again, like circles back to that authentic, like he's just like, that's probably how he'd be if you like were in person with him, you know?
For sure.
Hanging out, but it was really funny.
Well, I mean, some of these guys put out like a lot of content.
Well, and it's useful. Like when you have like 2 or 3 minute videos that are just like, crap, I don't know how to do this. I need like a quick, somebody just like help me out. It's like, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So, Bobby, we were talking, Carly and I were talking about your workflow, because you seem to do a good job, and without like spilling the beans too much. You basically what you did was stockpiled some videos so that you had enough to have a regular cadence when you started putting them out, so you didn't have so much pressure on yourself, which is super smart. But I noticed you're doing like new videos and some old videos. How long does it actually take you, like from when you started to like today? Like if you wanted to do a 10-minute video, how many hours do you think it would take you to film it and edit it and do all that stuff?
A 10-minute video? Oh boy, I'd actually never thought about that, which is oh boy. All right, let me just have 10 seconds of awkward silence to think about it. So
like how long do you think it would take just to do a regular video? Like if you were going to do your video like next week, like walk me through your time of like from start to finish to, because you actually go out and have to track down like a piece of equipment and start from scratch basically with it.
Yeah. So if you're including that too, so let's just say we find the equipment, I go get it, and let's just say it's 15 minutes from here. So that's 30 minutes, maybe another 10 minutes on site. So we'll just say close to 45 minutes on the front end, just getting the thing.
Yeah.
So from there to film it, it can range between, I mean, I've done it. The shortest one I've done is probably 1 hour of start to finish. Maybe not an hour of filming, maybe like 30 minutes of film or 40 minutes of film, whatever. That's the shortest, and that's only happened once or twice. So that's the smallest amount. And then I think the longest, oh man, there was this one, and I actually didn't even end up oh boy, this is bringing back. I ended up editing the whole thing, and it's in my saved videos. I'm never going to publish it because it's just this long story. But that was probably 10 hours of just throwing wrenches and, whatever. So 10 hours and 40. So, I mean, and it probably took me 4 hours to edit it. So it's probably close to 15 hours. And that was just one video. The video was like 50 minutes. So that doesn't answer your question, but that's for a 50-minute video. So that's the range. But I would say on average, probably 2 to 3 hours of garage time, film time, maybe not footage time, but like, set up, get in focus, shoot this B-roll, shoot that B-roll, whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe 2 to 3 hours on average. And then it probably takes me about 2 to 3 hours to edit it. So I'd say safely between 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you consider the amount of time, if you were trying to do this as like a full-time job, like best case scenario, you'd be looking at maybe being able to post 4 or 5 videos a week. And that's if you like got up, went out and did it. Yeah. And did like your, 9 to 5 work day of just cutting and filming and then doing it again. So yeah, that's quite a bit of time. And I know a lot of these people that, make videos like into projects, like, I'm going to say the guy's name wrong. Mark Rober. Mm-hmm. Is it Rober?
Yeah.
Like he does one a month, and I can't even imagine how much time he puts into actually producing that one video. Yeah. And it's only like 15 minutes long, but man, the amount of work that goes into like that. Yeah. I can't even imagine. I don't even know. Like, is it just him doing it, do you think?
No.
Or is there a bunch of people doing it?
He's probably got a team of people helping him out.
He had Macaulay Culkin in one of his like most recent Glitter Bomb videos. Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
That was so cool. I was like, no way. Because because what did he, like the first 2, he used the like, what was the sound bit?
He did the like,
it was like,
keep the
change, you filthy animal. And then it was like, that was the best. That was so cool. That was just like perfect. And it wasn't even like a big deal. He was just like, hey, look, I got my friend here. And it was just like Macaulay Culkin walked through the door, and it was like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
So it's really interesting. We were talking about like who our favorite social media people are and like staying humble and like that type of mentality when it comes to social media and doing stuff like that. I watched a video, and I can't even remember who it was by. That's how effective it was. But it was talking about Mark Rober. And then there was another one on Jake Paul. Jake Paul's like I don't watch his stuff, but I know who he is.
He's a rude boy.
He's a rude boy?
I don't know.
He's a rude boy.
He's a Controversial.
But they were talking basically about like how Mark Rober has outsmarted the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you fell asleep halfway through it.
I did.
So maybe we'll have to watch it again. But it was really interesting the way this guy was talking about it, basically talking about how within the first like minute of Mark Rober's video, he lays out like the how, the why, and the
scientific
what.
method, basically.
Yeah,
right?
he basically says like, this is what it is, this is what I'm doing, and by the end of it, you're gonna know whatever. And he's like, the audience retention that he gets, like when you look at it as a graph, like when you get somebody to watch the video and then do they stay through the whole video, that basically if everybody started to watch your video and then watched it all the way through, you'd have a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And his is basically a straight line.
That's so
it's
cool.
like when someone clicks into it, like the psychological tactics that he puts into his videos are like so high on the genius level. Like people don't even realize they're getting like instantly brainwashed into watching it.
The funny thing is though, if you think about, think about it in terms of sales, like in marketing. So in the beginning of like, if you become a salesperson, like the first approach is like, you have to like figure out who your audience is. You have to know exactly what to say. You have to like tell them exactly what they're going to get out of talking to you, like what the cost of your time or money is going to be, and then like how you're going to blah, 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 and like what the benefit is to you. So it's like, if you think about that, he's probably in line with most salesperson's tactics of like, I have to sell you on something in elevator pitch 10, 15 seconds. Like, how am I going to get you to stay?
Yeah.
And his sale is the views and like the impressions. So if he can get you through the entire thing, because at the end of it or at the beginning, middle, whatever, you can hear his like, this video is brought to you by, and also I have a course. Like, so he gets the residual like effects from being able to pitch that. It's very interesting. He's very clever and he does a really, really good job of communicating, and he's very like enthusiastic, and I like his strategy.
He's like, how do you want to describe it? He's very, very smart and tricky, but he comes off as being super friendly. You know what I mean? He's like super, super inviting.
I think he's probably a really cool dude. He's just like very smart.
Very smart.
He gets it.
Very smart. Yeah. That'd be interesting. I wonder if, didn't you ask me this? I think you asked me. Do you think Macaulay Culkin reached out to him, or do you think he asked Macaulay Culkin to be in his video?
I think I said, how do you think he got his
That is a great question.
Because Macaulay Culkin name dropped his website, and I can't remember what that was, but like mid talking, he was like, and by the way, you can go to my website, which is, and the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, that was cheesy. And then he got like 30 million views on it. And I'm like, do you know how expensive it would be to try to promote your website to 30 million people?
I think I said to you, I was like, how do you think that happened? Do you think like his people talked to his people and like their people talked and then it made it like, how does that work? I always wonder about like the logistics behind stuff like that, because it did. They made it feel really natural. It didn't seem awkward at all. It was just like, oh, they're just like two dudes hanging out. But there had to have been some like structured communication behind that and contracts signed and like all that stuff. But they do a really good job of being like, yeah, no, just like I called up my friend, but that's not how there's no way. There had to have been some type of like mutual deal, you know?
So what's really interesting, I'm going to have to find this video. Man, I am totally going to, I don't know if any of the viewers watching this care about this or not, but the interesting thing, because Bobby, we were just talking about this, was like people get wrapped up in the likes and the comments and like the instant results of when you post something. And the guy that was talking about Mark Rober's success was basically saying like 2 years ago, likes and shares and comments were really, really important for the YouTube algorithm to kick in and share your content. And he was like, so what's really going to be discouraging to a lot of people is that quantity was more important than quality for a lot of YouTubers. And that's how they got to the top. You know, if you posted 2 or 3 times a week, YouTube liked that. And now with what Mark Rober's done, it's basically flipped the entire methodology of what it is to quality over quantity. And that's where he was talking about like how with what Mark does, where he lays out the what and the how and the why, like right up front, it hooks the viewer into watching the entire duration. So even though he only posts once a month, he doesn't even promote, like he doesn't say like this video and blah, blah, blah. He just does it and then like mildly
People just do
reminds
it.
you to subscribe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's totally flip-flopped. And he was calling out how the title and the thumbnail of your video is like way more important than tags and descriptions and all that stuff now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We haven't hit that algorithm yet. We're just hoping to hit 50 subscribers on our podcast. But if we don't, that's fine too.
There's a kid, his name, he's ChrisX. He's like also a DIY, like car guy.
Yeah.
On YouTube, he's he's either the bigger, top, whatever, something like that. But he does the same thing that Mark Rober does. He will put like 50 to 100 hours of just effort and time and energy into one video. And I think he used to be a little bit more frequently, but now it's like one a month. And it's funny because I follow him on Instagram. And so like every other, couple days, he'll have something on his story and he's like, all right, this is what I'm working on this time. And he's like going through and it's like all this comprehensive, like behind the scenes. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you just like see these stories like over and over and over and over. And he's just like, yep, video's coming out soon. And then like 3 weeks later, he's like, okay, the video's coming out. And then it always shoots to like the top 10 on the trending.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's so cool though.
It's interesting. Like it makes me wonder. So here's a weird thing. So
like the guy from the Hogwarts wand counter.
Yeah.
He's like, I wonder. Sorry, this is very weird and creepy, but it makes you wonder. Because when Harry grabs the wand, he like glows, and then he's like wondering. I get it. Sorry,
Bobby, you're gonna hate me for this. I have never seen Harry Potter.
He's not into the Potter.
Like any.
No, I don't. No, I don't care. I'll say something on your podcast. I have never seen, or even really care about, any Star Wars of any kind.
Me either.
You though?
Sorry.
You?
No.
I'm in the same boat.
No, I've never.
I'm not against.
I just can't. I never got into Star Trek.
Yeah,
not Star Trek and Star Wars. I saw Return of the Jedi, and with the Wookiees in the trees when I was little, and it scared the shit out of me. I was like,
I don't even like all of the galactic movies. Nope, nothing.
I think I saw one Lord of the Rings. Is there 3 Lord of the Rings, or is it just one? I think I saw like half of one. I didn't see the whole thing.
I think there's 3 or there's more. I don't know how many, but I'm the same way. Any kind of trilogy or any like sequel or series, I don't know why, but I am automatically turned off to it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like even Pirates of the Caribbean, like anything. I'm out. I'm over it. I'm out. Just don't even want to watch it.
Okay, but hold on.
I don't even know why
Frozen
is that?
2?
Oh yeah. I mean, you've seen the Frozen. Come on now. Frozen.
Yeah.
I was just thinking
you've
to myself,
seen seasons 1 through 18 of Paw Patrol. I'm sure you have. I mean, I've got all those memorized.
I was just thinking to myself.
That's not by choice.
Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, the trilogies that I've seen are Disney. Anything like Disney, Pixar, whatever. Like I like Monsters Inc., Monsters University, like Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like Toy that's Story. What I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't even have time for adult stuff. I'm like all about the.
Do you watch TV, Bobby, or do you just watch YouTube and stuff like that?
Mainly YouTube. It's very rare for me to consume any like mainstream, shows or things that are trending on. Like Handmaid's Tale and like
we don't do any of those.
Like all that stuff, because like the people that I work with, like on my Zoom calls that we have, like our full staff Zoom calls a couple of times a week before the meeting starts, like everybody gets on and they're just like, it's kind of sad actually, but everybody's like started talking about like what they're watching on TV. I'm just sitting there like, I have no idea
do they have
what
kids?
You guys are talking about.
Do the majority of them have kids?
It's a mixed bag. Some do, some don't.
I remember that too. It was like, I always felt like, man, I'm like not up to speed on this stuff. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but like, I just watch YouTube. We watch YouTube and like TikTok, honestly, for the most part. Like TikTok,
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever
in terms
watched,
of like entertainment, I guess.
I don't think I've ever had like a thing where I watched a series. Like I remember back in the day, like when Friends was a thing, like when Friends was on TV.
Yeah.
Everybody I knew was watching Friends or Seinfeld, like,
Yeah.
and I never watched either one of them.
We got blocked from all that stuff
Did
as
you?
kids. We had like passcodes and things, and we were like
What was the show with Kelsey Grammer?
Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, what was that? There was a show that was on at like the same time that Friends was on. Oh, and I can't. It's like tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
right now at all.
nobody.
Zero.
Somebody leave it in the comments because I know Kelsey Grammer was like the star, and I don't even know if that was his
Kelsey
character
Grammer-
name or if that was a
okay.
guy. No, it was Kelsey Grammer.
I just looked it up. I because you said the comments thing, I won't say it. I'm in front of a computer.
That's gonna drive me crazy. My OCD is gonna go nuts right now.
Do you want me to tell you?
No, don't tell me.
Let
Somebody leave it in the
Let
comments.
the people speak.
First person wins.
What do they win?
Which will be like somebody.
A like?
It'll be Kyle. Kyle will do it.
Kyle will do it.
No, I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
As soon as I get the notification that this video is uploaded, I'm commenting the answer.
Yeah. We got like I think we were pretty restricted in terms of TV as kids. Like honestly though, but looking back on it now, like I appreciate that because there's so much garbage TV, and I don't think my brain was not primed to like really be invested in the dramatic like soapy stuff like The Bachelor, and like I'm not. I just like I tried. We watched like a season of it, and then it was kind of like. I don't look forward to it.
You used to like The Bachelor.
No, yeah, like we watched The
Bachelor.
Bachelor. I think one season where it was like religiously Monday nights we would sit down and actually watch it for like an hour.
You used to make me turn the Sportsman channel.
I did.
To watch
I was
that.
like, okay, it's on. We have to like go watch. But it was like, I don't know. My brain is like not. It doesn't feel like my brain is primed to be like I have to watch a show at this time.
It's so weird now. Like I'm sure you guys have seen this, but like when you ask somebody from the younger generation to say like act like you're holding up a phone, they either put their hand flat like this, or they're holding onto a brick, right? And like everybody from my generation,
like you do
like the hang loose thing. You put it up to your head, and it's like it blows my mind to know that like my form of entertainment when I was like couldn't drive a car was at 7:00, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy would come on because we didn't have cable. And my big entertainment would be like, if I could beat my mom to solving the puzzle on Wheel of Fortune, like I had achieved something for the day, you know? And like nowadays it's like, you can just watch whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's like the amount of stuff that you could find that nobody of your friend base has ever seen before.
Yeah.
It's just like endless. It's crazy.
There's so many episodic type of things too where people will post and they post consistently. Like that's why I love YouTube so much, because you can fall down this like rabbit hole, of course that's like the buzzword of like, oh, this one person who's unique and I really relate to this, they post a video every week but they only have like 5,000 subscribers, and it's like not everybody knows about it, you know. Not there's like you can find some very unique things that just really resonate with you, and then it's just I don't know. I think that's why I love YouTube so much, because you can find the weirdest little things and it's like, I really get that and I really like it. And like, I'm going to watch it. Forget cable television.
Yeah.
One thing
real
too,
people.
One thing I'm really proud of you guys with this podcast, and you guys are keeping it going. And here's why. We live in such a society now that is programmed to binge, right? Yeah. Like people just don't wait until next Sunday at 9:00. Right. I mean, they do, like The Bachelor and very select few shows still in rotation. I get it, right? These very few staple survivors that are far and few between. Yeah. Everything else is right at your fingertips. And so that's why, you know, with this podcast, you guys have more people that come on now. If there's a database or whatever of, you know, 15 or 30 or 900 episodes, whatever, people can, and they can start to binge that what's relevant and what they're into, you know, at that time. Yeah. And I think that from a psychology standpoint, understanding that if you are a content creator, if that's the word that people are using nowadays, it's very important to have that, so that way people have that opportunity, because we are so programmed to just binge everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what we do.
Yes. Speaking of that, so my all-time favorite show that used to be on like any network was the Meat Eater show with Steven Ranella. That was like my thing, and I would actually wait because they would release one like every week on the Outdoor Channel or whatever it was. Yeah. So I would actually like record it or DVR it. And now that it's on Netflix, when he released whatever season it was, season 6 or whatever, I told myself when I sat down, I'm like, okay, there are 9 episodes or whatever it is, or 10 episodes. I'm going to watch 2. And I started watching at like 9:30 at night. I watched every episode without getting out of my chair. And I was like, these are 45-minute episodes apiece. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself.
You know what's really weird? I was thinking about this the other day, or maybe I think I said something to you. I think we're the last generation, the millennial generation. And probably you could even narrow it down to like a select like 5-year period where people before technology that existed basically in your pants, where you can stick a phone in your pocket, like, and it's the internet and there's data, and like you're actually like, it's not like a flip phone where you have to like, hassle through like finding a program or an internet browser or whatever. We're like the last generation that didn't have it, but also did have it. Like where you have both, like where you were old enough to be like, I don't know what that is. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I learned what that is. And now I use it all the time. Because people after basically, I don't know what the age cutoff would be, but it's like our kids, they won't know anything before technology and like what exists. Just
we had to explain to them. I mean, Bobby, you I'm sure did too. We had to explain to them the difference between radio and Alexa. Like I had to tell our kids that there was a person sitting in a desk and they were picking the songs that we got to listen to, and they were like, Alexa? And I'm like, no, it's a real person.
But you know what I mean? So like crazy. as children, like but like under 18 years old. Yeah. So like before you were able to just like go out on your own.
Before I got my first cell phone, I almost got a pager.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how old I am. Like I legitimately almost got a Nokia pager just so that someone could page me and then I could go call them on a landline phone.
Yeah, sorry. I think I didn't specify. Like, yeah, it's like it's so weird because as a kid, you're just like, what is this? I just know go play outside and like hang out and have fun. I saw an
advertisement from I'm not even sure who was posting it, but it had a picture of a little kid, probably like preschool, like probably just about in between Lauren and Adam.
Yeah.
So like 3. And he had like a little button down like polo shirt, little cute little teal shirt on, and as a little boy. And the ad said, "Don't wait, start your kids coding today." Like what? Coding computers, like coding. What? Like start your kids coding today. Yeah. And it was like, what kind of world are we living in right now where a 3-year-old is going to start coding? It's like there are going to be kids in elementary school that know more about computers and coding than I do. Yeah. There probably already are, which is scary. That's like terrifying.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I've seen like little apps and games like how to code for kids. And it's basically just like connecting patterns and shapes and like things. It's like breaking coding down to like the most basic level and just like taking like, it's like shape 1, shape 2, shape 3, shape 1, shape 3, shape 4, shape 1, shape 7, shape 8. It's like you're basically just teaching their brain like when you have certain patterns and like a different language or whatever that means something. Dude, it's so interesting and weird.
I was sent to I don't even know what you call it, keyboarding class. It was
typing.
It was like typing camp.
Typing camp?
Yes. When I was in like 5th or 6th grade, it was at the junior high school in our like hometown.
Yeah.
And I remember I got sent there, and don't take this the wrong way, but I got sent and I had to sit next to the girl I had a crush on. Uh-oh. So that was very awkward for me.
Oh boy.
Because I was in like 6th grade.
And you were probably hunting peck.
And she was like, oh, better boy, at typing. Hunting and pecking. Yes. She was like advanced. And I'm like, I was the idiot that didn't know anything about it. I'm like, here goes my chances. But I remember being like, why am I here? I'm never going to use this. Why do I need to know how to type? Like, this is ridiculous. And oh boy, if I would have known what I know today.
My God. Do you guys remember the Oregon Trail?
I never played that.
Oh, that was the best.
Did you guys actually play it?
Yeah. It was like a requirement.
What was it on? Was it on computer?
It was on like a PC. Like,
oh, it was.
No, it was just PC. I remember that game with the plates where you had to like shoot the plates, and you'd get cabin fever. Like your whole caravan would come down with cabin fever.
Yeah.
Oh,
seriously?
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I never played it.
It's like the Farm Life like app now. It's basically like you have to make it across the United States, and you come up with like different challenges, and you had to like there's like a dog sled race, and if you won, you got like money or something. Yeah. It was the weirdest thing, but I don't know why. It was so cool.
I remember that time when I had like when you'd get like a Nintendo or a Sega and you'd plug the game in and it wouldn't work.
Okay, hold on.
You'd have to take it out and blow in it.
Yeah, blow on it. Top 3 games. Are you ready? Super Mario.
Wait, for what platform?
All of them. Okay. The ones that I remember. Mario. I don't even know if it was Super Mario. Just Mario, the one.
For N64?
No, it was like the old one, purple and gray one.
Just Nintendo? Oh, yeah. Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, Mario Brothers, whatever. Frogger. And what was the last one?
That's so weak.
Wait, hold on. Frogger on a PC, Super Nintendo, and Bass Pro Bass Fishing like 5000 on Sega or on Dreamcast.
Okay, Bobby, what are your top 3 video game picks of all time for any platform or computer?
Past, present, or is there a time period?
Anything. It could be today, or it could be from back in the day. Atari.
Oh boy! So I'm gonna start off with a power move. I'm gonna go with Flappy Bird.
What is
as
it?
my number? Flappy Bird.
On your phone? I don't even know what that is.
Are you kidding me? You don't know what Flappy Bird is?
No. Is it like today?
It had like you would like tap on the screen and the Flappy Bird would go up, and you had to go up and down and not hit like the partitions.
I have no clue what you're talking about. Are you talking today or like 10 years ago?
No, it was like 5 years. It was like probably 2015 is when it was like really popping. Oh. And
I've never heard of it.
Like a 17-year-old kid made it or something like that, and it was worth like millions of dollars.
I've never heard of it. I had Angry Birds on my phone. I had that.
Yeah. You remember Angry Birds? Yeah. Look up Flappy Bird. It's probably still out there, but it is very difficult. I'm going to go Flappy Bird. Any version of Mario Kart, the newer ones, I'm actually quite fond of, but the old ones, whatever. So Mario Kart, and then, oh boy, I guess we'll just go with the old classic Duck Hunt for number 3.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Have you ever heard of Flappy Bird, babe? I've never heard of it. What's Flappy Bird? I don't know. Your brother is telling me. It says Flappy Bird is a mobile game developed by Vietnamese video game artist and programmer Dong Nguyen under his game development company Dot Gears. The game is a side scroller where the player controls a bird attempting to fly between columns of green pipes without hitting them. Does that sound right?
Wait, is it like Angry Birds?
No, it kind of looks like a ripoff of Mario, but it flies.
Oh, that's fun looking.
Yeah. So your brother's was Flappy Bird?
Okay.
Mario Kart?
Bobby, do you remember?
Duck Hunt.
Oh, Duck Hunt. Oh my God. With the gun or with the controller?
With the gun.
With the gun.
Did you used to cheat and hold it right up to the screen? Did you ever used to do that?
Who didn't do that?
Who didn't do that?
The dog.
Oh my God. Do you guys remember? Do you remember Icy Castle?
No.
Bobby will.
No. I don't.
Icy Castle? It was like that thing where like the dude had, it was basically like a little avatar, and his hat was like down over his head, and you just had to jump right and left onto like the brick like things that came off the wall. It was on PC, Icy Castle. It was like you had to make it all the way up to the top, and if you fell, if you Google it, you'll know exactly.
I very vaguely remember what you're talking about.
I think it was in middle school, like when we were in middle school. It was about the time.
I'm surprised you didn't say Kirby's Dream Land for Game Boy.
Oh my God! Or gosh. 007. We used to play 007 all the time.
For Sega?
Yeah.
For Sega?
Yeah.
It was Sega, wasn't it? Or no?
Kirby's Dream Land.
Super Nintendo. I can't remember.
Donkey Kong. Okay, there was a period where Donkey Kong on Game Boy. Yeah, Kirby's Dream Land was on Game Boy.
Yeah.
It was Game Boy. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Pokemon on Game Boy. I never really got into that. I think you had that one.
I didn't have Pokemon either.
Bobby had that one.
Pokemon.
That's a thing now.
I'm going back in
Your kids are
time.
involved into Pokemon stuff now, aren't they? With Pokemon
Yes,
cards?
they are very well involved
That's
in
so
Pokemon
cool.
Sword and Shield are the new current ones. But yeah, Brett is exactly like I was back then, where he knows all the Pokemon and he's just totally consumed by it. So that's cool. And you know what we also do? I had a friend growing up down the street, and we would play Super Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
And there's a current Super Smash Brothers that's out on the Nintendo Switch that is for essentially the same as it was back then, just better graphics and more characters. And we have online. So what me and Brett do is what me and Brian used to do, where I would be Jigglypuff and he's Captain Falcon. And so we'll play online, and I'll fly up to somebody with Jigglypuff and I'll sing them to sleep, and then he'll drop in as Captain Falcon and just absolutely smoke them. And awesome. It's so funny because I get to relive that with my son nowadays, which is so funny.
That's awesome.
Hey.
And he just has this like super evil laugh anytime somebody gets blown off.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Hey, remember that one time Mom and Dad bet you couldn't eat an entire plate of spaghetti, and if you did, you'd get $100, and then you did, and you got $100.
Yeah,
and you bought a Charizard card. Yeah, there was like this. I don't even remember where we were. The waiter brought the plate of spaghetti down. It was literally like a full, like the cartoon style plate of spaghetti, where it was like it was like a mountain. I can't even remember who. I think it was Mom.
It's all like, mental at that point.
Mom was like, "I bet you can't eat that for $100," and he was done. Like no question.
So, okay, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to reference a TikTok that I saw. You saw the TikTok.
Yeah.
So Pokemon cards used to be like a thing, or they still are a thing. I don't know. Did you see the TikTok with the guy that was like, show me you're rich without tell me you're rich without telling me you're rich. And the guy walks into his office and he has like a 6 foot by 4 foot framed piece of like thing, and he starts showing it, and it is every Pokemon card from like the original series deck or whatever, and they're all in mint or mint plus condition, and he's got like I don't even know how many there are.
It was like every single one you could have.
He had every single Pokemon card in this big frame. Of the valuable ones. Yeah, every single one.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's not for sale. It'll never be for sale. It's just something that I like value in my life. And I was like, holy shit.
That's like, probably worth $1 million.
I don't know how much it's worth, but like it was impressive to see.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Just that he like put all of it into like a custom mat, and like it was crazy.
Do you remember where we had to go to get Pokemon cards when we were young?
The old ballpark.
Yeah, it was that place by like right across the street from Meyer, like on Haggerty Road, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you'd walk in and there was like one rack of just like, or maybe there was like a wall, and you could go and get like, you just pick your pack or whatever, and you'd have to open it. And it was like, what are you gonna get? Is that still cool? Is that like our kids now? It's like LOL and OMG and like the surprise. Like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, is that still a cool thing?
So hold on, before we go away from the video game thing.
Oh yeah,
I gotta say this. Like Gary V, Bobby, you know who Gary V is, right? He's like the social media guy. He's projecting that like in the near future, sports, like video games, are going to be dwarfing actual physical sports. And it was like, I believe it. Like the amount of money that people are making playing video games.
Oh,
and
you mean professional?
Yeah. Like people actually doing it and making like more than LeBron James. Yeah. Like as an example.
Yeah. It's called esports.
Esports. And they're saying like that's going to be the future. And it's like everything in my brain when I was growing up, because like we used to play video games and people would make us feel bad about it. They're like, you're wasting your time. Like you should be doing something better with your life. You're like, you're playing video games. And now it's like, now that we have kids, I'm like, shit, what am I waiting on? I'm like, I gotta get these consoles and get these kids playing video games. Like it's so weird how that has flip-flopped. Yeah. Like in the last 25 years or 20 years. Like
a real thing. Bobby referenced our next door neighbor, our neighbors down the street or whatever. So we never really got to have like a console per se. Like the one time my dad caved and bought one, it was the Dreamcast, and it was only up north. And like it was like we had Tony Hawk like Pro Skater, whatever. We had like the Bass Pro thing, and then there was like another one that just came with it. And I think that was the Bass Pro one. Whatever.
Oh, it was Jet Set Radio Future, the one where you were a rollerblader and you would spray graffiti all over the town and tag things and get points.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and then there was the taxi. There was the taxi driver one.
The taxi game.
The taxi game, and then NHL Hits.
Yep. Okay.
Which
And Marty, our cousin Marty would play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, whatever, and it was like the coolest thing to just like watch him play it because
some people were really good at that game.
Oh my god, it was just I don't know, but we used to go down and play like Sonic and Frogger. I remember that was on the computer, but like it was like 007 and all just kind of different whatever. But it's so funny because now thinking back to it, I feel like at the time, if it was like, oh, this is something that I could actually make money with, and I could like pursue this as a job
and
or like
against people
figure out how to, it would, I like don't know how kids, how do kids not get addicted and like never go outside anymore?
No, I don't know.
Like that's insane.
I don't know. Do you guys remember, this is going way back. Do you remember the video game called Paperboy? Do you remember that video game?
I don't think so.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Paperboy.
I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Bobby, when you get off the phone or when you get off, Google the video game Paperboy. And it was for the original Nintendo. That is one of the first video games that I ever got. And you're going to laugh your ass off when you see what it is. It's called Paperboy. I'm pretty sure.
Having to deliver the papers correctly to the doors. That's awesome.
You had to, yes, it is. You rode a bike down the street.
Yeah.
And you had to time your throw.
Okay.
Where you'd throw the paper and you'd try to get it either on their front porch.
I feel like that would still be
in the mailbox.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd still be a cool
You would
one.
laugh. Okay. Yeah. No, you would laugh at like how terrible that video game was.
I think
Paperboy.
I think Super Mario was my favorite, my absolute favorite, because my grandparents had it. Yeah. And also my other next door neighbor had it, and we like spent an entire summer one year. We ended up going to the store and buying the cheat book, basically like the book on like every level. Like here's how you get like extra lives and like cheat whatever. We bought that. We were like following it to a T. And I remember being like, this is what I'm going to do every day this summer. I'm just going to wake up and we'll just play this game.
Absolutely.
It was so much fun.
So the funny thing is like, I don't even know when I was like starting college, the cool thing was Halo. Everybody played Halo. Did
you ever get into those, Bobby? Those like war game, like modern warfare games?
Call of Duty? I never got into that.
No.
Yeah, so Halo was like the OG like first one. Halo was like the one that everybody played because you could play against people online. And then like Call of Duty, obviously, and then Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I never got into any of those. I was like out of the video game by then.
Yeah.
My favorites, I'm gonna throw it back. My all-time favorite game that was like addicting like crack was SOCOM US Navy SEALs.
Okay.
That game ruined my life. It was like very addicting. It was like Call of Duty before Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you guys had this Resident Evil.
Nope.
Did you ever play that one?
Nope.
That's the zombie one, right?
It's like the zombie house and there's like weird stuff. And
is that the one you were playing when we were at the Spartan house?
No.
That's not the one.
No, Resident Evil was like, I don't know if they make new ones now. I don't know. But I remember I lost my mind as a child because there was a game called Wave Runner.
Oh.
It was a jet ski game. And it came out, and I want to say it came out with like Nintendo 64 or something. And I was heartbroken because I didn't have the console. I was not going to be getting the console, and I wanted that game so bad. And it was like the graphics in it back in the day. It was like, it's like the Daniel Tosh thing. Yeah. Where you're like, have you ever seen anybody like unhappy on a jet ski? No. And I was like looking around at all these kids playing this game, and I'm like, my life is terrible. I don't have Wave Runner. I was like, oh, but so that's not my number 3. But my number 3 is Jet Moto. Do you remember Jet Moto for PlayStation? If you don't, go buy yourself a PlayStation and play Jet Moto.
I don't know if this is on the computer, but Bobby, do you remember that motorcycle game where you like just ride the motorcycle.
Full throttle.
Is that what it was? Full
throttle, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And you go to like
That
different
was-
levels, and there's like
Yeah.
different, obviously you go to different levels, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Crash
my
Bandicoot. Good
Brian,
one too.
neighbor Brian that we keep referencing. Yeah, he was like the video game like mecca
Yeah.
center.
Now he's a
And-
lawyer. So dad, did video games not work? Just kidding.
Dang it. I know it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, seriously. Jeez.
God.
But he what was I gonna say? Oh, the backyard sports games too, backyard baseball,
Oh,
backyard
yeah.
football.
I never had those.
Those were big. The backyard baseball and football were the two
Yeah.
main ones. I think they had like backyard soccer and hockey, but those weren't nearly as big
Yeah.
from what I remember as backyard baseball and soccer. Pablo. Remember little Pablo?
Yeah. That was in the
Oh,
backyard
man.
baseball one.
Oh,
That's
no.
so funny. Hey, remember that one time we got an Xbox from somebody that gifted it to us, and we got Monopoly, and we
I
played.
used to school you in
We
that.
played Monopoly, like just the standard Monopoly board game, but just Xbox Monopoly, and it was like surprisingly really fun to do.
What? Yeah. So we literally bought Monopoly and Xbox just to play Monopoly.
I remember you got
Dude,
that.
what game did I buy?
You bought
and I
that
beat it in a day.
You bought that crazy zombie game, and at the end, when you like, so you get whatever it was, you get to the
That
end
was
of
Call
it.
of Duty, wasn't it?
I don't remember. That it was like you get to the end of it, and there was just a room where zombies just kept coming, and you don't win.
You
It just
cannot win.
Yeah,
keeps
that's
happening.
Call of Duty. It's just called
Yeah.
Zombies, Call of Duty, and it's just how far can you go?
Yeah, and I
I-
walked into the room after class. I was like coming home or whatever, and you were just like sitting there playing. And I walked in, you were standing up in your boxers and like a white t-shirt, and you were sweating.
My heart rate
profusely.
had to have been through the
I was
roof.
like, "Are you okay?" And you're
I'm
like,
like, I'm
"I don't
not."
know. I've been playing this game for like 5 hours." So I was like, "Let's go
It
outside."
stressed me out so bad. That thing stressed me out. I'm like, you need to take this away from me.
I can't play. That's why I can't watch scary movies because it's too realistic for my
Oh,
brain. I'm just
gosh.
like, I can't do it.
No.
Do you watch scary movies, Bob? Are you like into the scary movie scene? Are you and Danielle like up on that?
So it's funny because Danielle just showed me a TikTok the other day of somebody talking about this. Danielle is huge into like the CSI Bones,
Yeah.
like those shows
Yeah.
where
Crime
it's like
shows.
the most malicious things that they can think of
Yeah.
from a fiction standpoint that people do. And then she'll be like so into that and then just totally against like horror movies, even though they're like the same concept. It's just they're portrayed differently. So
Yeah.
I would probably, if I had a gun to the head and I had to pick one or the other, I would probably lean horror movies over those, like special victims unit shows
Right.
and stuff like that. But it's not really my go-to.
No.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing. I know some people
Again-
who watch horror movies that are just like they love it.
I feel like a lot of the
Yeah,
horror
I don't
movies
know.
too, like we were talking about earlier, is like the trilogy stuff, like Saw. What was the other one? Like Jeepers Creepers had like Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Scream.
And then there
that was
Yeah.
I think there was like a House of Wax 2, or no, there's just one of those.
Yeah.
Dude, I
What was
remember.
There is one that I'll plug. It's called Don't Breathe that I saw a couple years ago. And that one, it wasn't really like horror. It's really messed up.
Like
it was
a
actually filmed in
thriller?
an abandoned neighborhood of Detroit.
Oh,
Ugh.
no thanks.
And with like these really beautiful houses, like in their heyday, were
Wait,
majestic. And yeah, it's kind of a messed up movie, but I don't know. Not really huge into the horror movie scene.
I feel like I know which one you're talking about now. It just clicked.
So the weirdest thing happened to me when I was in college, and I don't remember which Saw movie this was, but somebody rented a Saw movie, and they brought it into like my dorm room, and there were a bunch of us sitting there watching it. And whichever one it is, it's the one where a girl falls into a pit of needles, like of used like needles, like drug needles. It's just she falls in. And she's got like needles stuck in her, and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like, because they're like dirty needles, right? And there's a spot, and like I'm usually super like I can see gory stuff. Like I see gory stuff like when I hunt and stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't bother me at all, blood and like guts and like that stuff. And there's a scene where a guy takes a bat and it's got nails stuck in it. So it's like a baseball bat with nails stuck.
Oh,
and he
God.
swings and he hits this guy in the head with this like nail bat.
Ugh.
And whatever it was, when I saw that happen, I went from being 100% fine to 100% I'm about to vomit. And I literally ran out of my dorm room, sprinted down the hall, and puked in the bathroom. And it was like, where did that come from?
Weird.
And it's never happened in my life ever again.
When you get blood drawn, does it creep you out? Can you look at the needle? Like when you get blood drawn?
Now, yeah. The first time I did it, I passed out.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so you might have like some of the
I don't
the
know.
bloody thing.
It's like I have like a 99.98% I'm good. And then that 0.02,
Interesting.
it like swoops in and gets me good.
Just situationally
Yeah.
triggered.
Like, I don't mind scary things. Or like gory things.
How was birth? Like birthing?
That was fine.
Okay.
No, that was good.
Weird.
No, it's just that scene from Saw.
Some of the
got me
dads,
good.
some dads pass out, I've heard.
No, not this dad.
Not that dad.
No, if somebody would have hit somebody in the head with a bat with nails in
Other
it,
dad
I
on the
probably
phone,
would've.
how did you do with the birth? Did you pass out? Were you
We
okay?
I have a really funny story about, I don't know, I may have told you guys this, but
Well,
Ava was born
this
first.
is, hey, remember that one time, so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's remember that one time. Ava was born first, and it was cool. It was a normal experience. I didn't have any problems with it. It was really awesome. No passing out, nothing. So the second birth that we had for Brett, who's our second, it was such a different, and I don't know if you guys feel the same or if any other parents feel the same. The first time, they're like, there's so many nerves, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? What's going on there? I'm sure the husbands and the wives or the fathers and the mothers internalize it different.
Yeah.
Obviously, anatomically, naturally, that's just different places. But the second birth that we did, I was in such a different, like, I was like, okay, I know, like, yeah, go through your spiel. Like, I get it. Right. Whatever. I understand. So Brett was kind of like making his way down, and the nurses and the doctor were like super laid back. And Danielle's like, she was like kind of getting upset at how laid back the whole room was. And they were just like laughing. And like me and the doctors were just kind of like chumming with each other. And I asked the doctor like probably 10 minutes before Brett was born. So it was like almost there. Right. I was like, yo, can I pull it out, please? And she was like, oh man. And I was serious, and I wanted to so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many times do you get to do this? And so like, I pretty much forced Danielle. I was like, all right, I'm signing you up for this. If she says yes, like we're doing this. And so the doctor was like, I'd love to. I mean, you can basically sit right next to me or whatever, but like, I can't. And I was like, okay, I get it. Right. You don't have to explain any further, but here's the problem. Okay. We went to one of the first couple checkups, right? You have to make like the mandatory Porsche payments for the doctor by going 13 times a week in the first few days the baby's born. So it was one of those first few times after Brett was born. Dr. Foreman, who's our doctor, he walked in and he was just like, hey, how's everything going? And we were like, good. Yeah. It's our second time around. So we get it, just do your thing and let us be on our way. And he was like, okay, great. So he's like, whatever. He's like, so who delivered your baby? And we were like, doctor, whatever, so-and-so. And he was like, oh my gosh, she delivered ours too. I was in the room. She let me pull him out. And I was like, are you
what?
freaking kidding me? Granted, you're a pediatrician, you have credentials. She probably felt a little bit more comfortable doing it that way. But legally, I can almost guarantee you from a legal standpoint, his involvement in an injury of that child during birth would not hold up from a litigation standpoint.
No.
So that part I was super upset about, and I am still to this day, I'm so salty.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. No, that's
Well, some women are allowed to pull their babies out themselves. Like a lady I used to babysit for, she pulled like all of her babies out. But also she's a labor and delivery nurse, so like that's probably a thing.
Now hold on. When people gesture like a woman giving birth, a lot of times they crouch down in a sumo position and act like they're pulling a baby out of their crotch. That is very relevant to that situation. If you give birth to your baby to yourself, that's exactly what it looks like, right? That's not offensive. I feel like I learned something today.
You mean
The next time I do that in public and somebody goes, that's very, that's not polite.
What?
That's not, I'll be like, there is, when I crouch down and act like I'm pulling a baby out of my crotch.
And it's just poop.
No.
What? What are you talking about?
Is it just me? Am I the only one that has
What?
ever seen somebody do that? Like when they're like, yeah, they're giving birth and they like crouch down and put their toes up and they like act like they're pulling a baby out. No,
I don't know what
never mind.
you were talking about right now. No,
Never mind.
I think it was she was probably like the laying. I don't know. It'd be really cool. I don't know if I'd trust myself with that just because they're so slippery. They're just
They
like
are.
you don't know what's gonna happen. But I think that's like if you had like okay, so if you had 3, 4, whatever, and you know what's going to happen, and like
Yeah.
if I say like all goes well, everything's fine, I could see like each time getting a little bit more like adventurous. Was like okay, like let's have the husband do all and like whatever whatever. Let's do a home birth. Like let's just be at home and birth in a bathtub. Like I could see as you get farther along in like your kid rearing journey, you could just be like, let's try just like different stuff.
Right.
Like okay. Bobby, did
Have you ever
guys
seen people
find
do
out?
it like on the side of a river?
Oh boy, that's a different
I showed you that
story.
video before
that's
we had our third.
That's when we were thinking
And
about
I was like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that was interesting.
She laid like grass down next to the river and just
that's
laid down.
probably how it actually happened.
I mean,
back
yeah.
in like the cave people days.
If you were going
what
to
else
give birth
could you
and then
do?
have to like clean yourself up,
Yeah,
go down by
well,
the
what
river.
else are you gonna? Well, yeah, the bears would come. You have to be on the lookout.
Great. Bears.
The cave bears and the dinosaurs. Bobby, did you guys find out with Breton, or did you wait to find out what the gender was?
No, we waited.
Yeah. Would you do it again if you were gonna wait? Would you wait or find out?
Oh, we would wait. 100%.
That's so. We almost did with Adam, but then we decided Adam. We went to one of those pre-screen, like the early ultrasound,
Yeah.
and they totally said that Adam was a girl. So for like 4 weeks, we believed Adam was a girl. We were like, we're about to have 3 girls. And then when we went to the actual anatomy screening, they were like, oh, congratulations, you're gonna have a boy. And we were like, what? Like, oh my god. But
that was entertaining.
It's very like finding out during the birth. It's just very primal. It's very that's how everyone always did it up until like 1960 or I don't know when ultrasound or when that first came in, but I mean for the entire time up until recently, that's what people did. So it was cool. I mean, everybody's got their thing. I don't think there's a right or a wrong. Some people can't wait.
Yeah.
Some people can't. I enjoyed it.
Now you can teach your baby how to talk before they're even born because the ultrasound is so. I'm just kidding. Like the clarity of the ultrasounds now are like
creepy,
so insane. I can't describe how clear you can see a human baby's face inside of a womb just through like 3D ultrasound or whatever. It's like crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But that's really
video
cool.
Games
though,
are taking over the world, and you can see your baby before it even comes out.
That's really cool though, because they can diagnose a lot of like crazy stuff and fix things and like couldn't do it before.
No, that's
I don't
true.
know. It's insane.
It's very
crazy.
true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think? It is 1:07 in the morning on this beautiful evening, and I think our memory card's about to fill up. So I think, I do. So I keep looking over at the time, and I'm like, we've got about 3 minutes before this is going to fill up, and it's going to stop. So what do you think? You want to call it quits and wrap this podcast up for the evening?
Yeah.
What do you think?
This was a good flowing podcast. We covered a lot of topics. We did a lot of fun things.
We officially documented the Bob Seger story. So, 20 years from now, your kids can go back and be like, here it is in all of its glory.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for having me. This was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this wide-ranging conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime,
thank you.
we'll have to do another one. You'll have to, we've got a long list of people that want to do this. So maybe in a couple months we'll have you back.
You have blazed the trail though as our first caller in our first call in.
Hey, and nobody's phone died.
Yep.
We made it all the way through. So
I am
anyway,
absolutely honored. Thank you guys again. This has been so fun. I am honored to be the first
number one.
ever.
Yeah.
Number one.
This is so fun. All right. Cool. Well, everybody who has made it to this point, thank you. Subscribe, do all the things if you want to. If not, that's fine. We're just going to keep doing this because it's fun. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. And we'll see you next week on the 25th podcast.
Yeah. Everybody say bye on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye.